Okay, so welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me today for our Burnout Comeback. So let's get to it. So, just to get started, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians on the lands in which we're all individually standing. I'm here on Yagara land, and this is land that was never ceded, and I acknowledge the privilege that I've gained through the colonization of these lands, and I pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. So, just to check in if you're in the right spot, is this you? Do you feel burnt out as fuck and you just can't rest? Can't shut your brain down, feel like you want to rest, but at night you're just wired, you're awake, you've got the racing thoughts, laying awake, maybe dreading tomorrow's task list, thinking, how am I going to get through all of that, knowing that you're going to wake up exhausted, you're always running on fumes. Tried all the things, but nothing sticks. If you're answering yes to any of these, you are in the right place. So a little bit about me. I know a lot of you already know me, but for those that may be listening back, I'm a mum of three. I was working in a corporate job when I had my first baby, and then I fell pregnant with my second baby and started studying naturopathy because I had a lot of struggles. And I was raising my babies, going to work in the city. My kids were struggling with daycare. My kids were full of anxiety. I was full of anxiety. I was struggling. I remember falling asleep at my desk and waking up and having all of these people surrounding me laughing. It was horrible. It just wasn't working for me trying to do all of the things. So yeah, I quit my job. I pulled my kids out of daycare, started homeschooling. I was still studying. I was meditating. I started my energy healing business, doing Reiki, women's circles, because I was like, this is my energy problem. This is about my mindset. I've got to get things together in my head, change my patterns, set my boundaries, doing all of the energy side of things, but it still wasn't giving me complete healing. It wasn't giving me complete traction. So, yeah, I was burnt out. And I got to the point where I just wouldn't leave my house. Everything was too overwhelming. I couldn't drive very far without having panic attacks. I went to a GP and got put on antidepressants. I saw a psychologist, and they, it was great to vent, but it was kind of frustrating because I didn't really see my capacity improving through those things. I didn't feel like myself at all. Uh, I went into all of the energy work. I was doing all of those things. I was doing all of the right steps. I went and saw my naturopath, got pathology work, and I was depleting everything. I was like, oh, look at this across the board. So yeah, there was a gut issue in there because I wasn't absorbing anything. I had issues with undiagnosed celiac disease that was causing a lot of underlying depletions on top of breastfeeding my 4-year-old, all of these things, co-sleeping, not getting enough sleep. I was depleting everything. I went on a healing journey. I finished my degree. I'm now a bachelor qualified naturopath, supporting women to thrive, lead their families holistically with natural health and energy work. So my passion is about supporting mums to be the best version of themselves that they can be their favorite selves. I am passionate about teaching and guiding mums to be the healers of their home, to educate them around gut health and immune system and everything like that, to build them up to be that leader, and so they can teach their kids and lead from that space. And to do that, we need to get the mum's capacity right up there and build them up first. So our intentions today, we will be here for about an hour. Cameras are optional. There is a replay going to be available. So yes, we are recording. You can watch this back if you want. And my goal is to not have your faces up here if you don't want to. So it's all up to you. please ask your questions in the chat. There is a section where I will come back and answer them. So probably try and write as much detail in there so we know what you're talking about when you ask a question. I thrive off questions. I am responding in my human design. So it is very helpful for me if you ask questions, because then I can talk and reply and respond to those a lot easier. And it's much more interactive for you because you get your answers and you can tell me about what's going on for you. All right. So at the end of the workshop, I will tell you about how you can work with me as well. What you're going to walk away with today is knowing why burnout happens, why the usual advice isn't working, how we actually can replenish your stress resources. I am not gatekeeping. I will tell you all of the things that I will be like prescribing and all of the pathways that I look at, looking at the rituals, the exact things that you can take away and do. Like, I'm going to show you how we reset our hormonal imbalances, how we nourish our nervous system without going into wellness burnout, because I am very aware of how the wellness industry can drive burnout in itself. So I've got some ways that work with our everyday motherhood, work with our lifestyle. I want to know what your daily patterns are so that I can build little micro rituals into your day to not overwhelm you even more with what you're currently doing. I'm going to talk you through which herbs and supplements I use and what I have found actually works and why. So hopefully we have time to cover all of that. I'll have to talk really quick. So the struggle as I see it. So I get that you've tried lots of things. I also understand that there are hurdles that not every practitioner or GP or psychologist can see, such as neurodivergent brains, such as complex kids' needs, the whole extended breastfeeding, co-sleeping arrangement. This is energy that can't be sacrificed. I know that when I went in for my GP appointment for my burnout, that they were like, well, why are you homeschooling? Why are you co-sleeping? Why are you still breastfeeding? And I was like, that's not helpful advice. I don't want to change those things. This is a part of who I am, and this is the lifestyle that I've chosen. And just because I have chosen to live in this way doesn't mean I need to sacrifice my energy. I am of a strong belief system that just because we want to mother intensely doesn't mean we need to live in survival mode. We are missing some big support systems here, and I am trying to help fill a gap there that is really, really needed. So I know that you need to eat well. I know that you need to move your body and that you need to get consistent sleep. But I also know that it's really hard to do because you need to move your body, but you're too tired. You don't have the energy to do that. You're trying to get consistent sleep, but you're laying there awake and your anxiety is just burning away at you. I know that you're trying to eat well, but by the end of the day, you're crashing out. Okay, it's so hard to prepare your food and keep up with all of that. And yeah, because look at all the hurdles above. Neurodivergent brains, kids' needs, kids' sleep cycles, all of these things need to be addressed as well, holistically. Bring it all together. Look at all of you. So boundaries. Boundaries would be great. It would be great because I see a lot of people pleasing, a lot of perfectionism. I see it in myself. I see it in my clients. And boundaries are a huge thing that I had to learn, that I love to teach. And the most struggle that I see people have is holding boundaries with people that they love, because we don't want to let down the people that we care about the most. We want to be able to serve them. We want to be able to give them everything, but we have to do that within our means. So yeah, the other struggle that I see is seeing counselors. Those types of things are not fulfilling your capacity. Can be really nice to vent, can be really nice to get an understanding of what's draining your energy, but how is it going to help you to build that capacity? So I know that you've tried, and I know that you're not lacking willpower. I know this is important to you. But what I want to show you is that your plan was incomplete and we can bring it all together. So a question that I have for you, just take a moment to breathe, sink down into the weight of your body. What would you do with your life if you weren't so burnt the fuck out? I know when I was struggling, I was like, I wish I could just take my kids and go out for a bushwalk, but that just felt so hard. I wish that I could show up as the calm, grounded mum and not be snappy or dissociating all the time. Who would you be if you weren't so fucking tired? That's what I want to know. That's what I want you to think about. Why has nothing worked yet? Burnout isn't just your habits alone. Burnout is a physiological depletion. Your nervous system is in survival mode, and that puts you in this vicious cycle, this never-ending loop of feeling fatigued, of feeling drained. Your hormones are in protection mode. So yeah, I'm talking, when I say hormones, I'm not talking about just your sex hormones like your estrogen, your progesterone. They're what we often think about when I say hormones, but we also have hormones like thyroid hormones, cortisol hormones, insulin hormones, all of these different things that play a role in our whole body systemically. So all of those, your cortisol, your insulin, are moving into protection mode. So yeah, we get to hold on to weight no matter what we do. We can't shift things. We are feeling tired. We're feeling on edge. We're feeling wired all the time because we're on alert. Every time you push through these, every time you build resilience and you keep trying and you be strong and you show up, you're depleting those systems even further. So we need to build capacity bridges. This is my favorite part. Building capacity bridges help you to expand your resilience, help you keep up with your demands. What is burnout? Burnout's not just fatigue, your engine. So think about the energy centers within your body. If you remember back to school science, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It's imprinted into my brain. So your mitochondria is the little powerhouse within your cells that create energy, ATP. Okay. And that takes nutritional building blocks. Your adrenals are the endocrine gland, the hormonal gland that pumps out your hormones that keep you keeping up with life. That's your fuel. It's your adrenaline, your cortisol that keeps you going, keeps you, it's your go button. Okay. So your engine is built up from your mitochondria and your adrenals, and they're like keeping your fuel primed and ready to keep you moving. Burnout is when that your engine, your mitochondria, and your adrenals have run out of fuel, they've run out of resources. You can't produce energy on demand from nothing. That's running off the smell of an oily rag. You've got nothing left to give those energy tanks. Pushing harder makes it worse, because this is when we get into that adrenal fatigue, is when your adrenals are crashing out. You don't have that energy anymore to get up in the morning because there isn't anything to say go. The go button is broken. You're pressing the go button and there's nothing in there to kickstart it. Okay, your systems are trying to overcompensate. This is where we get period problems, where we get weight problems, we get thyroid issues, we get all of these things down the line, downriver from this, because your stress has put all of your systems on high alert, and everything is trying to create shortcuts, draw from other resources like bone density to try and make up for things like that. It's not a failure mode, you're in survival mode. What happens in these stages? So there is stages of burnout. The first stage of burnout is when you're feeling really wired but tired. So this is that laying in bed, awake, can't switch off your brain, always feeling like you have something to do, can't sit down and relax, you feel guilty for resting. You're waking up probably with anxiety, but also tired. And that's probably because when you're waking up, your your cortisol has a gentle peak that starts high in the morning and gradually declines over the day till you feel rested and ready for sleep. It works on a opposite timeline to your melatonin pathway. So melatonin and your cortisol are opposites. Also, serotonin is tied into there as well, your happiness hormone. So what happens in stage one is that we still have that high peak of cortisol in the morning, but it's actually too high. So your cortisol starts off really high. Maybe you're waking up in the hours of the morning, like, I've got things to do. I can't get back to sleep. I feel like just can't rest. You're wired and tired. That's your high cortisol. Your adrenaline's high. You're already always feeling like you have to go. Stage two is where your cortisol rhythm becomes a bit dysregulated. So maybe it's a bit flat in the morning. Maybe you've got a high peak in the afternoon. For some reason, you've got energy after lunch. Maybe you've got a crash in the afternoon and you need that 3 p.m. after lunch nap. Maybe you're really high in the evening, and that's why you feel like you have to stay up really late and get all of these things done, and you're moving furniture around at 11 p.m. at night. You're just irregular. You're getting energy crashes at weird times of day, and you just feel like you don't know what to do. Is it food? You're trying to eat foods to try and cope, but you can't predict it because it's all over the place. Stage two. If you are in stage three, your cortisol has crashed out. This is the adrenal fatigue kicking in. This is where the adrenal gland that makes your cortisol, that makes your adrenaline, has gone, nothing left, not doing it. You're not getting out of bed. You are not moving. You are not leaving your home. You are exhausted. You're numb. You're dissociating. You can feel no pleasure. You cannot connect in with your creativity. Of course, you cannot connect in with joy, things that used to make you feel happy, like if you were doing craft or hanging out or playing with your kids or whatever it was. Just, you don't care. You're just like, I wish I could care, but I just don't have it in me. It's just not happening. You are in that exhausted and numb stage three, burnout. We need to lift that cortisol back up. We need to kickstart your adrenals back into gear and get your body moving again. So what stage do you see yourself in? You can let me know in the chat what stage you're in, or just have a think about it. If you're journaling along with me, then just check in with your body and how you've been feeling lately. So let's move on. Why does it happen? We know. We get into excessive workloads. We have high emotional demands. Mothers, you are mothering 24/7. I know that a lot of the women here are like breastfeeding. I know that you are homeschooling. I know that you are um, bed sharing, all of the things. I've got it just bringing up the chat here. Yeah. Falling into stage 2 and 3 burnout for so long. Yeah, I hear you. Like, why is this happening? We have excessive workloads. We have a lot of pressure on our backs. There's not a lot of support systems. You have to hold it all. We also have really high expectations for ourselves. We have that inbuilt perfectionism. We're people pleasers. We want to serve. We want to make sure everybody around us is happy and well, especially our families, especially our kids, especially our partners. We will take along a lot of other people's burdens, and have that underlying shadow belief systems. Your shadow belief system is really individualized, by the way. So if it's not the I can do it all or I'm failing, it'll be something else. So there is a lot of shadow belief systems in there, around, like, there's the big one around, if I do not fulfill all of these needs, then they won't love me. I won't be worthy. I won't be a good mother if I'm not doing all of these things. I won't be a good woman. I won't be a good person. I won't be a good person and a leader in the community unless I step up for all of these things. It's all on my back. So just have a think, like, why is this happening for you? What's underlying it? Because these shadow elements are a huge part that needs to be held and needs to be understood and needs to be processed in safe, trauma-informed ways, which is what I do in my work amongst the naturopathic physiology of it all, because we need to do them both hand in hand. I tried doing just the shadow work on its own, and I didn't complete the cycle. I tried doing just the energy, the nutrition and stuff with this, and that's when I got my capacity. Okay, symptoms that you can't ignore. So this is what I was talking about, is that we get the low motivation, the creativity, the self-worth. You'll find you're gaining weight, stubborn weight. You're losing that confidence within yourself. You're feeling like, who am I anymore? I don't recognize this body. It falls into that hate of the body. All of that cycles up. Feeling wired at night, tired all day. You're thinking, how can I even feel better if I can't even sleep? Mood swings, anxiety, rage, numbness, soul connected. And there's lots of other things that can be contributing to this as well, of course. So why does the standard advice fail us? So you go to standard advice, they're saying just relax, take a break, meditate, sleep more. Um, some of the advice that I've heard is like you need to take time off work and just do nothing, just stay in bed and do nothing. Okay, I have tried all of those things, and it sort of made my depression worse, just doing the nothing. Um, you need to fulfill or refill your resources to be able to relax, because otherwise you're laying there circling in um, the guilt of not doing all of the things. We need to address those things first. You don't have the resources to be able to relax. You don't have the resources to check out of motherhood. You don't have the resources to just say, I'm just going to quit my work and whatever. Um, Mindset work alone can't fix a physiological imbalance. If you've got resources missing from your adrenals, from your mitochondria resource, you cannot keep going. Antidepressants and take time off don't rebuild your energy systems. So the real fix is systemic support. Your burnout comeback needs these three things. So we need to replenish your resources. So I'm talking about nutrients, minerals, your overall energy bank. I'm talking about regulating your stress response through nervous system regulation, balancing hormones, not just sex hormones, but they're the ones that we think of when we think about our period cycles, aligning with those rhythms, getting your insulin back into a sensitive range so that your body can move energy into cells, blood sugar balance, cortisol regulation, thyroid balance, all of these things. And that all starts in the gut. Resetting your patterns. Yes, shadow work, boundaries, your belief systems, what you have grown with, all of these things need to be considered. So the first stage is replenish. So I'm talking about nutrient depletion here. Why do you feel so flat? Stress is going to change everything. Stress burns through so many of your resources so quickly. So when you are stressed, your gut lining becomes inflamed. So your gut wall is where absorption happens. We have little microvilli on our gut wall. It is where all of our bacteria live that do all of the beautiful jobs to create things like neurotransmitters in our brain. That's why we get put on antidepressants, because yes, when we are stressed, we end up in modes of depression. Also, things like inflammation can lead to neuroinflammation, depression, things as well. So if your gut lining becomes inflamed because of poor bacterial balance, so dysbiosis is bacterial imbalances, you might end up with less of the good guys helping you to build those beautiful neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin, GABA, which is for calming, and you might end up with more of the unhelpful types of bacteria that lead to things like bloating and IBS and lots of other things like gas and all of the joy things like that. Your absorption for your minerals, which happens on that wall, is going to drop. So this is where we see a lot of issues with, especially things like iron, B12, all of those crucial vitamins that we need to build those energy resources, not getting absorbed. So no matter how much iron or B12 or foods or anything like that you're eating, it's not coming through, especially low stomach acid. So stress is going to drop your stomach acid. Therefore, you can't break down your proteins to get those amino acids out of them. Protein is built from little tiny building blocks called amino acids, and the amino acids is what is built in the gut to form those neurotransmitters in the brain. So if we don't have enough stomach acid to break that down, we can't break down into our foods into their mineral little counterparts. that we can use, our building blocks. So we need to make sure our stomach acid is sufficient. Stomach acid needs, like, its hydrochloric acid, it needs components like zinc, it needs components like B6 to be formulated. We can stimulate these systems with beautiful herbs like bitters, that I love, to help that stomach acid to come into play. Also, a lot of nervous system things like that, rituals and practices like breath work and other little things that help to bring that on. So, our body is shifting into survival mode and our nutrients get rerouted for stress and not repair. So they're just all getting sent, like, think about vitamin C. Your adrenals just love vitamin C. They need a high level of vitamin C to keep making things like cortisol and adrenaline. So if your body is under stress, all of your vitamin C is going to be rerouted to your adrenals to say, feed me, feed me, feed me. I have need so much nourishment because I'm doing so much work. And then all of your vitamin C that is also used for your immune system is not there. It's a high level antioxidant. So therefore your body can't keep up with the oxidative stress. Your immune system's under pressure. You're going to get sick more often. Doesn't that just play into the burnout cycle? Is, oh, I'm always sick. Why can't I just catch a break? Yeah, it's because your body doesn't have the resources to repair. um, your hormones are also stealing those resources. So, yeah, making the cortisol, it takes away the progestin that is required to make progesterone. That's your calming hormone that you get peaking just after your ovulation. That helps you to feel calm premenstrually. So, therefore, you get the PMS, the rage, the cramps, the headaches, all of these things come because cortisol is taking over and don't have the sex hormones to balance your cycles. Here's a beautiful little image. Can you see this one here? Um, this is why you feel so flat. These are the key players that are going to get hit. So here's a little image of our mitochondria, the little powerhouse of the cell. And you can see in these little boxes over here, these are the different nutrients that our body needs to use. These are the building blocks. This is that citric acid cycle that creates ATP, creates the energy, and it needs lots of B vitamins. It needs iron. It needs magnesium. We need vitamin C. We need omegas, like these are essential fatty acids, like omega-3. We need sugar to be glycolyzed, if that's the right word. But if we are having insulin resistance, this gets disrupted. If we're not getting enough omegas, like your salmon, your chia seeds, your flax seeds, and everything in your dietary system, then this gets interrupted. Amino acids, that's the protein that gets broken down. If you're not getting enough protein or you're not being able to break down that protein in your stomach acid, this gets disrupted. So we have a lot of interplaying parts here. We need these B vitamins. They are key to keeping this cycle moving. Okay, there's a few other systems that are at play here as well. We also have a cycle over here about methylation and the folate cycle. So if we have other gene changes, MTHFR, very common one in the system at the moment, those need to be considered and to think what is happening to these cycles to keep this ball rolling, to keep this gear cog turning, to make all of these happen. So yes, we need B vitamins for energy production, keeping our stress responding. We need magnesium. Magnesium is so important for sleep as well as for cortisol control, insulin control, nervous system. Vitamin C feeds your adrenals. Your adrenals are going to burn through it so fast if you're in stress mode. Iron and copper. It is a little bit included in this little cycle here, but it's also outside the cell. Stress and inflammation are going to disrupt your iron and copper utilization. So if you have a copper imbalance, you will have poor iron transport. That means low energy, because if you don't have enough iron, you don't have the energy to move that energy around your body and your blood and your blood cells. You'll have low energy, thyroid struggles, everything comes from that. Therefore, we can see iron deficiency or iron mismanagement coming in from there. So we say, oh, I've got iron deficiency. It's like, okay, why? Where along this pathway is that being disrupted? We can't just slap on an iron supplement and say, oh, there you go, things will be fine now. We have to look, where is it? Are you getting enough in your diet? Are you able to absorb what you're getting in the diet? Are you able to utilize what you're getting in the diet by getting checks on this copper balance system? So when you're in chronic stress, your digestion goes offline. So you could be eating the perfect diet, but your stomach acid, your enzymes, they're downregulated because your body is so busy fighting that lion. It's on protection mode, it's on survival mode. That means that you're going to be breaking down less protein, you're getting less minerals that you can uptake into your system. Even if you're taking supplements, if your body is pushing all resources into cortisol production and away from your thyroid or sex hormones, you're still going to be running on empty. You're still going to be feeling so flat. Your copper and iron are dance partners. When stress throws the copper out, iron can't get where it needs to go. You're going to feel exhausted. Also, didn't put that on here, but copper and zinc need to be in balance, equal, because if copper goes down, zinc goes up, then we see mental health, we see more anxiety, we see panic attacks, we see rage. So that's for kids and adults. I see that a lot. How do we fix it? So we need to restore your energy by supporting your stomach acid. All begins in the gut, says Hippocrates. So we can do that with things like starting the day with lemon water, ACV, bitters, herbal bitters. I love things like gentian, ginger, St. Mary's thistle. They're the ones that I take. Other bitters, we have beautiful Schisandra berries. We have Andrographis is like king of bitters. It's very strong. But we just go in at the level that you need. We need to work on mindful eating. No, I'm not talking about shoving your kids' leftovers in your mouth as you lean over the sink in between making meals for them. I'm talking about sitting down, eating without rushing, and just being really present with your food. We need to balance your blood sugar levels. This is talking about the insulin resistance that plays a huge part in cortisol regulation, and balance your nutrition, orders of eating, making sure you've got enough fiber, protein, healthy fats that are going to balance out those carbohydrate loads. You don't need to completely avoid carbohydrates, but we need to make sure that you're getting the right carbohydrates for what your body needs. We need to heal that gut lining. We need to check if that's damaged. Things that are great for healing gut lining is zinc. Zinc carnosine is what I go to. Glutamine is a beautiful amino acid. We get that through bone broth. If you want to just make some bone broths yourselves and include it in your daily diet, I highly recommend that. I've got a talk coming out soon about ancestral nutrition where I talk you through how we make that. But there's also blogs and reels up on my website all about how to do that. Balancing your minerals, getting the right type, because there's lots of different types of magnesium depending on what you need it for, and the right level for you. Magnesium glycinate is what you need to calm your nervous system and support your sleep and your energy levels. Magnesium glycinate is what I recommend, taking that morning and night. Sodium, potassium balance, electrolytes. Getting your electrolyte balance right is so important. Getting your copper and zinc ratios aligned. They need to be 1-to-1. Adaptogens, a herbal, withania, rhodiola, beautiful herbals. Withania is really, really good if you're also having thyroid issues and struggling with autoimmune conditions, because it is very anti-inflammatory as well as being adaptogenic. So it has both of those elements to it. Rhodiola is a really powerful adaptogen, really good for the gut as well. Rehmannia is another one that I will mention. I use that as well if we have a lot of cycle disruption happening with your menstrual cycle going offline as a result of these things further down the line. Other adaptogens, things like if you were crashing out and you don't have that that cortisol level, then licorice root is a favorite for lifting up your cortisol. But you need to be careful, because if you're in a high cortisol stage, this is why I'm like, check your cortisol. We do cortisol testing with saliva tests, because if you are in a high cortisol state and you take licorice root, you're going to make it worse. So we need to check that and see that you're actually in a low cortisol state before we give you that, because we don't want to make things worse. So we're looking at adaptogenic herbs to help to nudge those systems, nudge those pathways in the direction that we want it to go. We also use functional testing. So that's where I was talking about the saliva testing for the cortisol. We can do cortisol awaking rhythms, which is where we take a saliva test every half an hour or 15 minutes from the time of waking to see what your pattern of cortisol does on rising. So we can see if it's starting off too high, if we see it's flatlining, or we can see it's crashed out. So we want to know exactly what you're doing. And we can get those saliva testings to be midday, 3 o'clock, evening, and even in the middle of the night, because some people are waking up in the night, hot sweats and panics, and it's your cortisol spikes. So we want to do blood tests. We want to know what your insulin's doing. We want to know what your zinc and copper serums are doing. We want to know your electrolyte balance. We want to know your liver function tests. We want all of those things so we can track what's happening across your body. HTMA is a hair tissue mineral analysis. This is so beautiful for telling us more about your iron, your copper, your zinc ratios. All of those things tell us where the cells are moving it, the utilization of these parts. Because, like I said, if we've got iron issues, is it because of absorption? Is it because of copper? We want to know all of the ins and outs. So yes, we can see what's happening in the blood, tells us an immediate what's happening, what's currently moving through the body, but the hair tells us how is it storing these things? What are the stores like? Because blood doesn't tell us the stores. Okay, so the next step is regulate. So we need to regulate the nervous system. This is why you can't switch off at night if your body is stuck in fight or flight. So cortisol dysregulation leads to things like cravings, could be craving salt, you could be craving sugar, carbs, bread, all of those things. Cortisol dysregulation is also going to lead to things like weight gain, and you get stuck in those fatigue loops, not being able to sleep fully. So how do we fix that? How do we help you regulate your nervous system? Is we give you that evening magnesium glycinate. So important for quality sleep. Helping to keep your blood sugars regulated throughout the night, helping to keep your cortisol regulated throughout the night. Vagus nerve rituals. So I have a whole post on this that gives you a big breakdown, lots of podcasts on it as well. So we do breath work. I create customized breathwork rituals for my clients for what they are going through, and implement them as rituals in their morning or evening or where it's going to work for them based on their lifestyle and their values. Vagus nerve rituals are also great for humming. Moving the vocal cords helps to stimulate that vagus nerve that connects. Your vagus nerve connects your brain through all of the systems of your body, especially your gut, goes all the way down to your clitoris. So if your vagus nerve is not toned, then you're going to struggle with all things regulation. Cold water splash can be really good for the vagus nerve, but cold water and ice bathing is not always recommended. If you're in a high cortisol state and you throw yourself into an ice bath, you're going to throw that cortisol sky high because your body goes into panic mode. That can be really good to wake up your adrenals if you're in that adrenal fatigue, crashed out, numb, exhausted stage. But if you are in a high cortisol state, that's not going to be helpful. It's going to make you more anxious, as well as breath work. If you're doing fast breath work, that wakes you up out of that low cortisol space. But if you're already in high cortisol state, you need to have slow breath work. You need to have slow, deep exhales to help to drop you back into your body. This is why it's all very, very individualized. This is why I always lean into functional testing to guide our work so that we know exactly where you're at. We read your body symptoms and we read your functional pathology. We use our adaptogenic herbs, as I was talking about, with Dania, rhodiola, romania, dropping your system back into safety. We use nervine herbs, lemon balm, passion flower, beautiful chamomile if you've got gut symptoms coming with this as well. Really beautiful herbs. They're all very individualized based on what other things we need to draw in systematically to help your individualized case. But these are the different things that we do to help your nervous system regulate. I know that there's a lot about nervous system regulate. Go and meditate, go and do your breath work. But I know that when I was in a high cortisol state, I couldn't meditate. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Because I would always meditate so easily, but I couldn't focus. I couldn't sit and do it. It's also very different for different types of neurodivergent brains. They require different types of mindset work that are going to work with their bodies, their brains, and what they need. So that's why we do it on a very individualized basis. Work with your needs, work with your strengths. We also need to reset your patterns with shadow work. We need to help you find comfort in your darkness, in your shadows, in your patterns, knowing what it is that you are doing out of survival to people please, to move into hyper independence, to move into that martyr energy. It is all about survival. It is all about finding out why. And we do that in a very trauma informed way, moving through this energy. We do this through deep meditative work using Reiki guided energy, dropping into safety in our bodies and feeling somatically where we need to move and process energy and guiding that through you. We need to identify your beliefs. We need to create the identity that you want to live by, and we need to help you step in and embody that energy on a regular basis. So if you'd like to take a screenshot or write this down in your journal, you can do this later if you'd like. Do a little journal prompt of, where am I betraying my body for approval? It's a little interesting question that I have for you. So your comeback path looks like recognizing where this is coming from. What got you in this position in the first place? How are you running your life that's not serving you? Where are your values? Where are your strengths? And how can we align you to that? The next step is replenishing your systems, looking at your pathology, rebuilding your system so they've got the resources to thrive, and helping it to build that capacity step by step. Regulating your nervous system with little rituals that we can bring into your everyday life, looking at your current lifestyle and the way that you wake up, the way that you run your evenings, and implementing tiny little fractions of ritual to help you connect in, bring your body back into safety without disrupting and adding to your wellness burnout. We're working with your current plan, not changing your whole lifestyle. And we need to reset your hormones. We need to look at your insulin balance. We need to look at your cortisol, your thyroid, bring it all back online, bring your cycle back into alignment, help you with any bleed issues that have come as a part of all of this correction. I know that this is a lot to do on your own. This is the path. Okay, this is what has to happen. It's not just mindset. It's not just counseling. Yes, hiring a cleaner, having somebody cook your meals would be fabulous, but those sort of things are not going to replenish your minerals and restore your balance. We've got to start at that physiological level, as well as looking at the shadows and the patterns of how we got here, so we don't go back there again. How I serve you, the first step is the initial consult. So an initial consult is a 90-minute deep dive for clarity. So we are going to explore all your symptoms through your body. So we talk about your gut, we talk about how often you poo, what they look like, how they feel like. We talk about your periods, your cycles, how they began, how they've changed, what your births were like, your stress levels, your sleep cycles, all of the things. We talk about your family history. We talk about your medical history. We talk about your childhood. We bring it all in. We talk about your values. We talk about what's important to you. We talk about your goals and how you want to live. We talk about your lifestyle and things that you don't want to sacrifice and things that you want to change. And we help to build you into that favorite version of yourself. I give you a tailored holistic treatment plan. After your consult, I send you an email with a treatment plan that's designed just for you. So for this 90-minute consult, it's 225 Australian dollars, and that will be your 90-minute map. So this is the map to heal. Your treatment plan will have these sections in it. So these are the headings that I provide. So your intentions. We set out what your intentions, your goals are. Like it might be restore your vitality, balance your rhythms, your cycles, or whatever it is that's bringing you the biggest pain at the moment, biggest pain points. We get on top of that. We give you a prescription, and these are practitioner only products of nutrients, compounded nutrients, like if we need to sort out your insulin, if we need that magnesium glycinate, if we need zinc, if we need glutamine to heal the gut, whatever it might be, I give you a custom compound. It's a powder. You put it into liquid and drink it. Herbs, I give you herbal remedies in little shot glasses that you shot morning and night to help nudge your systems and bring your body back on board. Bitters are beautiful. We can do them in drop dosing. We can do them, that's the most I'll give you, probably about 7.5 mils at a time, just little shots of them to keep them going, diluted, of course. They don't always taste great, but they're done pretty quickly, and then you drink your compound, moving on. And they work. They feel good. You take them for a reason because they work. Um, we work on your nourishment. We work on your food rituals, the way that you eat, building in mineral-rich meals, blood sugar balance into the way that you eat, making sure that you're getting enough fiber to feed your microbiome with prebiotic fibers, probiotic foods, building in mineral-rich bone broths and beautiful foods like that that are going to help you feel replenished at that cellular level. We work on those little mini rituals with breath work, movement, somatic practices, journal prompts that are specially for you and what you're moving through. Everybody that has an initial consult, I give you a flower essence, little vibrational imprints of flowers that help to align your energy and emotions with the stage of healing that you're moving through. And I will refer you to functional testing if you need it. So not everybody has to go through functional testing, but it can be really helpful for those people who have lots of symptoms and need some deeper answers. So this is the map to heal. So you can either take that map, take your initial consult and be one and done. Take your plan and run with it. If you're like, yep, I'm the type of person who can go and get this done and I don't need anybody to hold my hand or check in with me. I've got this. Fine, take it. It's yours. You can do what you want with it. You can keep ordering your supplements through me and you're good. Option 2 is that you can stay supported with me. We can do return consults, 45-minute consults are $110. We can do them fortnightly, we can do them monthly, we can do them 6-weekly, however often you need. I will be there to hold your hand and walk with you as far as you need me to be. Option 3 is that I lay this out and say, look, this is what I think we could do. This might look like a package. It might look like some testing coming in, and I could bring that into a package to help make it more affordable if it looks like we've got some work to do. And we can build a payment plan in to make it affordable, make it easy, make it achievable. My goal is to help you make these goals a reality and achieve these things. So if we can make it easy for you, that's my goal for you. So your very next step, it just begins with one conversation. So all you need to do to get the ball rolling here is book your free connection call. So, oh, hanging up on them. So book your free connection call. I will drop it in the chat in a moment. We can explore what you need with no pressure. There's no strings attached. I'm not going to push you into a connection, into a initial consult from a connection call. You get to ask me the questions. You get to fill into my vibe. You get to fill into my values and see if we're going to work. Ask me your questions. Ask me what I would do. Ask me what it looks like. See if it feels aligned and how we would create this path forward. So the first step is book that connection call with me and tell me what's going on for you. And we can see if this is the right step for you. So I am opening space for 5 new clients who are ready to reclaim their energy in their life this month. So I'm offering a special gift for those that are here on this webinar. So if you book via this webinar today, then I will throw in a personal tarot reading, which I will record for you. And I will send it to your inbox in an email so that you'll have it to look back on. And this will be a little reading about the shadow elements, is what's behind your burnout and what are the thought patterns that we need to process. So that's what I'll be gifting for you for coming along to this webinar or watching back with me. So if you've got any questions, now is the time. I will stop the recording and open the floor.